Okay, my name is Jante Osler, and I'm 20 years old, and I'm currently a college student, and I'm from Utah. A little bit about me and my background is something that's really unique about me that shocks a lot of people, and I don't tell it that often because sometimes I also just forget that people don't know, but it's kind of crazy. But when I was originally the youngest of a family of 5. I was the baby, and the baby gets tons of attention, tons of all that stuff, and my family was done having kids. And so when I was about 5 years old, pretty traumatizing thing happened in my life, and I think this has a lot to do with a lot of things and why I turned to food. My aunt and uncle and their 3 kids, it was my mom's sister, they were fishing one day, and I don't know the whole story, but they were under a tree and the whole family got struck by lightning. And the parents instantly died, but the 3 kids survived it. I remember just waking up and seeing my mom cry in the living room on the couch, and I remember going up to her and saying, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Aunt Lisa and Uncle Rick." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "They died last night." And being a 5-year-old, it's hard for you to understand it completely, but I definitely could feel the sadness that my mom had and the sadness just in my family after that point. I didn't know how the 3 kids were doing at all. I didn't know what was about to happen. So it was a pretty traumatizing thing. Long story short, we ended up adopting those 3 kids. The youngest, Megan, who was only 2. The second youngest, Mackenzie, who was my age, who was 5. And the oldest, Dakota, who was only 9. After that, I shared my room with Mackenzie. I shared my toys. I shared my clothes. And most importantly, I had to share my family with them. It wasn't just, she's my cousin. She's my sister now. And at first, it was a party, she's my favorite cousin. We were starting to live together. But then after some time, it gets hard. And with adopting the 3 kids, it wasn't easy. Actually, it was a 2-year court battle for my parents, because the other side of the family, the Rick's side, the dad's side of the family, his mom wanted the kids. They were her grandbabies. She wanted them. So we had to go through a 2-year court battle for these kids to officially adopt them. But they were living at my house during the whole time, because I don't really know the whole story, but that's what happened. They lived with me. And it was really hard because it was such a traumatizing event, and these kids needed extra attention. They just lost their 3 parents. Everybody was giving them so much attention. All of my family, my extended family, would come over with gifts for them, of course, because we want to show that we love them, and they're so young, and it was so traumatizing. But at the same time, for me, I compared myself a lot to Mackenzie because she was my same age, because I shared everything with her after that point. And I would see the attention that she would get from my parents, and not just Mackenzie, but the 3 kids. And it started to make me feel like I had to have something traumatizing, like something horrible happen to me for me to actually get some quality time with my parents and my extended family and some of my siblings, And I just felt invisible. I felt invisible for so many years, because everybody looked at me and they saw, she's doing so good. Like, look at her. She's so blessed. She has her 2 parents, and she's amazing, and they're helping these 3 kids. And it was really hard. I just felt pushed aside. And because of that, for so many years, I tried so many times to call out for attention in the wrong way. I was a child. And so once that didn't work, what did I turn? I turned to food. I turned to food for comfort. And I remember even starting at the age of, I think it started at the age of 12 is when turning to food really started to happen, because that's when I really started to feel the emotions, because when you're so young, you don't really understand what's going on. I just knew that I missed my parents' affection and attention for me. And it happened so fast. Like, everything changed in one day. Right when my aunt and uncle died, nothing was ever the same after that. It was really like hard. And I remember me and Mackenzie shared a room for years. We shared a bed. It was a pretty packed house, you know, with 8 kids. You can only imagine. So I remember just at night I would go sneak a whole plate of Doritos and I would melt cheese on it, or I'd get a hot dog. And I would just, every single night, it was when I was trying to sleep is when my brain was like, food, 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 food. So I'd wait till my sister Mackenzie was asleep and I'd go get this food and I'd eat it in private. And it became a habit, and I would be so embarrassed when I was caught, right? Because it's not eating time. But this just kept piling up. And over the years, before I knew it, I was 170 pounds when I was in high school. And a lot of people look at me once I joined this program, a lot of people were like, you're not that overweight. Like, you're fine. Like, it's really not even that bad. But in reality, I was gonna keep gaining weight. I wasn't happy with myself, and I didn't like the pull food had on me. Food really had a pull on me. And I honestly, like, to this day, and I'm gonna get to like how my progress has done, it just amazes me how much like my mindset has changed about food. But anyway, once I graduated high school, I decided not to move out yet. I wasn't ready to move out. I had such low self-esteem in myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't really know how to love myself. I went to therapy. I tried to figure out who I was and what I wanted, because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I even wanted to go to school. And so I went on this diet right after high school. It didn't work. I basically, like, I lasted 2 weeks. And I tried so hard because I want to lose the weight. I wanted to feel adequate for other people. And I realized my problem was, looking back on that diet, is I was also doing it for the wrong reasons. I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it to get acceptance of everyone around me. I was doing it for the acceptance of my father. I was doing it for boys to start looking at me. I was doing it for all of these reasons. And it wasn't about being healthy. It was about the way I looked. So after that didn't work, after like those 2 weeks of that diet, I completely binged on all this food that I didn't eat for those 2 weeks. And I'm pretty sure I gained like a couple more pounds from that. Like, I probably gained more weight just from that diet than I lost, because I binged so much after it. It was just torture. I tortured myself. And, so after that, I was like, you know what? I hate diets. I'm never going on a diet ever again. And food didn't matter anymore. I ate whatever the heck I wanted to eat. So at 19, I finally moved out, and I'm in my apartment right now, but I finally moved out, and it actually just got worse once I moved out, because I was like, now I can buy whatever I want. I don't have anyone telling me what I can and can't eat, because I mean, people cared about me, and I know people would be like, Jinte, like, are you sure you want to be eating that? Like I had people that would say certain comments to me about my eating habits, and I kind of just ignored it. And I was like, you know what? Like, that made me more mad. I was like, I'm going to eat whatever the heck I want more now because of it. But once I moved out and I started to figure out more who I was, in February. So February is when I officially joined LadyBoss, but it was the beginning of February when I was like, I need to make a change, because I was eating so many calories a day. I was probably eating like 4,000 plus calories a day, because I would go get, like, every time I went shopping for groceries, I would always get, like, you know, those extra large Symphony bars. I'd get like 2 or 3 of those, and those would be gone in like 2 days. And then to top it off, like late at night, I'd go to the grocery store and get a whole tub of the birthday cake ice cream, and I would just eat it, and I'd watch Netflix like so late at night, and it made me feel good. It just made me feel comforted. But at the same time, it made me feel horrible. It made me feel trapped. I literally felt so trapped. And it was the beginning of February where I was like, I need to make a change. So I went on like this counting calorie diet, because everybody's like, oh, if you just count your calories and you can eat whatever you want. So I went on like this like 900 to 1,400 calorie diet. That that don't do it. It didn't do anything. But the point was, the good thing is that the desire that I had came back, because I realized, I really don't like my body. And my triggering point was, I was shopping at the mall with my friend, and she's so fit, and she's not overweight and stuff, and I'm a little overweight, and we decided to try on the same shirt at the mall, and we tried on the same size, and I probably should have gotten a size bigger, but anyway, I remember looking at her, and she looked so beautiful in that shirt, and then I remember looking at me, and I just wanted to cry. Nothing fit right. I hated shopping with my friends. My friend could tell that something was wrong, because after we tried on those clothes, and I just wanted to avoid the mall after that. I just wanted to crawl in a ball, and because I just didn't feel comfortable in my skin, and my friend could really sense that, because I wasn't buying anything, and here she is buying all these cute clothes, and I was just kind of sad. And that was really my triggering point, when I looked in the mirror at that mall and I tried on this shirt, and I said, this is I've had enough. I'm tired of feeling this way. I was so tired of it that at that point, I was like, I'll do anything to never feel this way ever again. And a few weeks later after that, I was sitting on the couch, and I scrolled through Facebook, and I saw Kaelin's live video about how she lost 65 pounds and have kept it off. And right the moment that I watched that video, I honestly was so in tune with her, and I really just had this feeling of trust for her. I really felt like she's lost the weight and kept it off, and she's a woman like me, and she was overweight before, and she can relate to that. And I really love that, because I felt like it's nice to have someone that can relate to me. And so right after I saw that live video, I went and got my credit card, and I joined. There were so many times when I was putting in my credit card number, I was like, this is a lot of money, but I knew there was no way I wanted to keep going how I was going. And I needed help. I didn't know how to lose the weight on my own. I needed help. I really did. And I'm forever grateful for social media because of that. If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't be the woman I am right now. And so after I joined, at first I was really, really motivated, and I still am right now, but I learned a lot about myself. At first, I really took it seriously. I went and got all the healthy stuff that she said to get, and I stuck to the meal plan to a T, and I worked out every single day. And I started to see results slowly, and my motivation was really good. And then about 2 months in, a little bit over 2 months in, so this was a couple weeks ago, I just hit this wall, and I just had no more motivation. But Kaelin has helped me so much. I just feel like the times that I needed certain videos is when she would upload those videos. And I really loved the video that she talked about how if you don't love your body right now, you are not going to love your body at your goal weight. And that really hit me hard, because I didn't love my body right now, and it's still a struggle, and I think it is for everyone, when you're not happy with your weight. So that's when I started to work on self-love, and that's when I really started to do good, because it was more about being healthy, and it was more about putting the nutrition in my body. And I look back at the person who started in February, and it's a completely different person to me. I have lost 10 pounds, and I try to avoid the scale as much as possible, but I have lost about 10 pounds on this program. I weigh 170, and I went to the doctors a little bit ago, and I weigh 160, and I couldn't believe it. And it's just been so incredible, the amount of self-love I have found for myself, because before I didn't have that at all. I didn't even love who I was as a person. I didn't think that I was anything great. I felt very invisible. And once I started to lose the weight and once I started making progress, I started noticing just this change in myself that, like, I am so worthy of love. Like, I am, and I honestly can say that I love myself right now, and I couldn't have said that. I remember being in therapy my senior year, and she gave me an assignment. My therapist gave me this assignment, and she wrote down these things on a piece of paper, and she said, I want you to read these things to yourself in the mirror every single day. And I couldn't do it. It was just things like, I am worthy, I'm beautiful, I can do anything good, and I couldn't do it because I couldn't even fake it. And self-love for me came with time. But every time I eat healthy and I go to the gym, I feel so good, and there's nothing more. Like, I would never go back to my old self because I feel too good now. And UTA also really helped me a lot too. And it just proves that, like, no matter what you've been through, there is no excuse to not be healthy. Like, because one thing I've learned is that we have all been through such hard things. And I used to tell people, like, well, you don't understand what I've been through. I told my therapist, you don't understand what it's like at my home life. And I victimized myself. And there's a lot of hard things in my childhood. A lot of hard things. And Kaelin really gave me a new perspective and was like, well, you can either victimize yourself and have a pity party, and because we all can, and you can blame it on everybody else, or you can actually take control of your life and find happiness. And that's when I stopped blaming my family or things that happened for my weight. And I took control. And I just, more than anything, I have found self-love. And that is better than losing any amount of pounds to me, because self-love is everything. And, like, when I look at myself in the mirror, I honestly love who I see. And some days it's hard, some days you have to work at it, but I think that's how it's supposed to be. I don't think confidence is a constant thing. I think it's something that we always have to constantly work on. And there were so many times in the program that I thought, like, it doesn't, like, I could give up. But then I think back to that moment in the dressing room at the mall with my friend, and I just said, no, I never want to feel that way ever again. And I just honestly feel unstoppable. And I have people and friends and loved ones around me that tell me that I look healthier. And I haven't even told them that I'm on the program. But the hardest thing was resistance without as well. My roommates, they were in college and they eat a lot of crap. I'm not going to lie. They eat all the junk you can think of. And I got a lot of crap from them. Like, when I would be eating something healthy, they'd be like, oh my gosh, like, you're gonna eat that? Like, it doesn't even matter. Or on my birthday, my friend bought me this little birthday cake, and I felt like I didn't really eat any of it, and I felt bad, but I knew that my goals were my main focus, and other people weren't my main focus right now, and it was me, and that was okay. And I never thought as a college student that I could do this, because as a college student you're super poor, and you hear all the time that eating healthier is a lot more money, but I did it, and I am doing it, and I still have quite a journey ahead of me. I'm only about 3 months into this program, and I'm not at, the weight that I want to be, but I'm never going to give up, and I feel so much happier eating better for myself. And it's just like this light switch has just gone off in my life, and it's just incredible. So this program is so life-changing if you let it change you. You can't join and then just expect changes to happen. You have to put in the effort. You really do. And some days, I didn't feel like going to the gym. Some days I didn't feel like eating healthy, but I did it anyway. I just have little pep talks to myself. And I haven't been perfect either, though. I have made mistakes on this program. There's been times that I've eaten stuff that I wasn't supposed to. But the main thing is that I never let that get me down, and I always got back up, and I went right back on track. I didn't let that ruin, like, if I one time for breakfast maybe had like something that wasn't LadyBoss approved or wasn't healthy, that didn't ruin. I wasn't like, oh well, I already ate something unhealthy, so now it doesn't matter, like the whole day, I'm just gonna have the whole day off. No, you can't do that. But that's a little bit about me and this journey on this program, and it is truly life-changing, and I'm so grateful that I came across Kaelin's live video, because it changed my life. It changed my life, and it can change anyone's life, because it can. And I didn't think I ever could make the progress I'm making, but I am, and it feels so good. Anyway, that's a little bit about me, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I would love to help and inspire as many people as I can, just like Kaelin has inspired me and so many women on this group. And all I have to say is just thank you. My heart is so full, and I've never been happier in my entire life than eating healthy and exercising and choosing to have a healthy lifestyle. It's such a better, like, there's no, like, and for all the girls who use food as a comfort as well, I'm going to tell you, there is no better feeling right now eating healthy and getting progress made than that feeling of comfort. Like, this feels so much better. And I know that during the moment when you're eating that food for comfort, it feels so calming at that point, but after, you just feel horrible. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And I know there's so many women that don't want to do it either. And I know that so many women can get change from this program, because it's incredible. But thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope that you really enjoyed my story. Thank you.